Boxing King Media in association with boxer Gareth A. Davies on the red carpet at Joshua Franklin Fight Week press launch. You've seen Jermaine Franklin. I'll start with him today. Incredible shape. Have you seen such a dramatic weight loss from any heavyweight in history from one fight to the other?
God, I can't even think about that right now. Yeah, Mike Tyson lost a lot of weight, didn't he, at one point? Tyson Fury from 28 stone to 19. That was a pretty big one. He lost 10 stone, didn't he? The weight of Ricky Hatton. No, he looks cool, calm and collected as he always is. He knows that smaller guys have given AJ problems, or Andy Ruiz did, so he's banking on exchanging with him, throwing his shots with him and getting that punch onto AJ's chin. So it's a massive opportunity for him. He lost against Dillian Whyte, yet his stock rose, and now he's got this massive opportunity. And it's a bit of a banana skin fight for Anthony Joshua, because if Joshua wins in 5 rounds, people will go, well, we were expecting it anyway. And if he goes the distance, people will complain. But I think AJ will win this fight. He looks good. There is a pressure on him, as there always is, but if he wins this, there's 3 massive fights out there for him. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce. End of.
To be fair to him, AJ did say that when he was interviewed today. That's what he said. They're the 3 fights he wants. But what's realistic? You've seen, if we look past this fight, if he beats Jermaine Franklin, which one of them 3 is going to be the easiest one to make a deal with? Because we've seen heavyweight fights aren't easy to make.
There are 7 or 8 fights at the moment that could really define this era. And you can go through the top 5 guys: Fury, Usyk, Joyce, Wilder, Joshua. There's like 8-9 fights to be made there, and I bet we don't get 4 or 5 of them. But if they made all of them, it'd go back to the period of the 4 kings: Hagler, Hearns, Leonard and Duran. They fought each other 9 times, those 4 fighters. And there's an opportunity to create a golden age of fights in the heavyweight division, which could compare probably with any era. But for some reason, because these guys only fight once or twice a year, it doesn't look like we're going to get them. What's the easiest fight to make? It's a weird thing to say, but maybe Tyson Fury in the late summer. If AJ fancies it, I think he should be calling out Fury, and Fury should take that fight. It's a great fight for Fury, and it's a great fight for AJ, and it's a fantastic fight for us.
Definitely is. How do you think the splits for that would even work? Because we've just seen, I think previously they agreed on 60-40 to Fury. If AJ wins, do you think that would still probably be the split, or do you think Fury might want more because he's got the WBC belt?
He might do. They agreed 60-40, and was it 50-50 in the rematch at one point? Yeah. God, it feels like that's gone on forever, but we all know how irrational Tyson Fury can be, but it's a fight he must fancy, and it's one that AJ wants, but he said he's not going to go to his grave worrying that he didn't have that fight. It's just the eternal circling round, isn't it, that is very frustrating. I can't remember a time like this while I've been covering boxing where it's so frustrating with fights not being made, and it does come down to money and ego. I think it did with Usyk and Fury. I think, yes, you can blame Fury for making the conditions too difficult for Usyk, but I think, I suspect, my theory is, even though it's supposed to be Joe Joyce next, with Usyk facing his WBA mandatory in Daniel Dubois, then it wouldn't surprise me if Usyk ends up fighting Deontay Wilder in Saudi Arabia. Wilder was recently out there, wasn't he, when Tommy Fury and Jake Paul fought. It's not beyond the bounds that those 2 will fight next. But as I say, they need to get these fights made. It always feels big in an AJ fight week. We are looking over the city of London here tonight on the red carpet. AJ looks in fine fettle. Jermaine Franklin wants to change history. It's great to be here, and it's a great fight week build-up.
Definitely is, Gareth. Just that thing with Dubois you mentioned there. Obviously, we saw the fight was called off, and then yourself, Colin Hart, Frank Warren, I can't think of Umar. you all had this rush meeting together at this restaurant. Seemed quite organised. What was the thinking behind that? Was it to kind of push the fact that Dubois is next, Usyk can't take any other fights?
Yeah, I think that was. I think it was a PR move to Frank Warren to get Daniel Dubois out there and maybe to explain his side of the Fury-Usyk negotiations. But yeah, it gave us a chance to speak to Daniel Dubois. He wants that fight with Usyk. He believes he can do it. But it's a much smaller fight monetarily than Fury and Usyk would ever have been. But you can't blame Daniel Dubois for wanting to take his opportunity at this point.
What about Dubois' injury? Because it looked quite a really bad injury, and not seen any footage of him being back in the gym. So I'm guessing if he is not fit, he may be entitled to some step-aside money.
Well, that may happen, like you say, if Usyk and Wilder happens. But no, he told us he was well. He was back to sparring and training. He was good on the leg. I think it was an ACL injury, which he did when he was caught on the temple and went down. And he said he's ready to go. Simple as that.
And the other thing I want to speak to you about, Gareth, last subject, we saw the Sun newspaper report today that they are saying Eubank Jr. and Ben, the news is imminent. Eddie didn't really rule it out today. He just said it wasn't imminent. I'm getting the same vibe when the fight was announced the first time round, when the papers got hold of it, but Eddie was denying it, and then boom, it was announced.
Yeah, we understand it's at Abu Dhabi on June the 3rd. Look, this is a very complex story and a very complex fight. Obviously, it'll be under the auspices of a different licensing authority. He's not going to have his case with the Boxing Board of Control before then, I doubt. That's Conor Benn. Eubank will want more money now. I can tell you that as a given, even though he's lost to Liam Smith. Eddie's busy tonight. It's Monday. He'll be busy Wednesday with the press conference, busy Friday with the weigh-in. But on Tuesday, he's meeting Kell Brook. And as I said to him on Thursday, why don't you announce Ben and Eubank then, and we can all hammer you over it. You know, you do feel that Conor Benn needs to do some kind of hearing before that fight takes place, but this is boxing. It's the Wild West. They've created these situations where he's been able to go around the system. It's not satisfactory. You can't throw the whole testing system. I'll repeat this. You can't throw the whole testing system under the bus. It's an inherently dangerous sport. We need to police performance-enhancing drugs. There probably needs a bigger authority than just the sanctioning bodies and the licensing authorities. You know, the Boxing Board of Control, the commissions in America, the commissions around the world. Because if you had a world governing body of some kind, they could demand undisputed title fights take place when two guys hold 4 of the belts. You could demand that hearings are made and done rather than get around them on non-strict liability situations like they have with Conor Benn and the WBC. Obviously he wants to sue the board, but he'd be better off going in front of them and hearing his case. But it's a very complex situation. It's not right at the moment, and that fight's going to be enormous if it's announced, Ben and Eubank, for its controversy, for the background of it. We'll all be there, but it'll be a very, very unusual and very criticised event.
Do you think all that criticism and all that, what like you're talking about there, that'll be the biggest talking point of the whole fight? That's going to bring more money, ultimately. That's
what boxing is. It's hype and promotion. And Conor Benn is a name that everybody knows now. Everybody knows. And it will be great, bring great controversy to the fight, but it'll bring bigger numbers as well at the same time.
Last thing, Conor's not been at any events since all this is broke. I asked Eddie earlier, and he suggested he may well be there this Saturday night.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And it wouldn't surprise me to see them have a press conference next week to announce Ben and Eubank. Eddie has told me as well, it's not over the line yet. But, you know, the soundings are they're trying to make the fight.
Gareth A. Davies, as always, appreciate your time. I just want to mention the fact that you left and he came back just to give us this interview.
I went all the way home and I came all the way back.
And you did. You had a cigarette in between. But I genuinely appreciate your time.
My pleasure.